According to Psychology Today, their definition of an addiction is a condition that results when a person ingests a substance, alcohol, cocaine, or nicotine, or engages in an activity like gambling that can be pleasurable, but the continued use of which becomes compulsive and interferes with ordinary life responsibilities, such as work or relationships or health, and users may not be aware that their behavior is out of control and causing problems for themselves or others. The title of today's program is Escape from Addiction. And I want to help you escape from addiction, or help people in your life, the ones that you love, you care about, that are trapped in addiction, to help them to escape. Let me walk through a list of some of the addictions that people in our country and people in our world are wrestling with today. The first one to start with is drugs. And there's all kinds of drugs that we might be able to list here. Like heroin, cocaine, meth, prescription drugs, as well as marijuana. And marijuana is becoming legal in different states, but that still doesn't take away from the fact that it is addictive. And here are some stats with regards to drugs. 24 million, or 9% of the U.S. population, is considered to have a drug problem. And what is the age groups that are most at risk and that deal with drug issues more than any other? Teens and 20-somethings. And amazingly, the 50-something age group is right behind the younger age group and battling with drug addictions. The next addiction that we deal with is smoking. And smoking is something that is socially acceptable. And because of that, 1.1 billion people worldwide engage in smoking. Over the next few years, it's expected to get up to 1.6 billion smokers. And an incredible statistic is that nearly 50% of lifelong, long-term smokers will eventually die of some type of smoking-related disease, like lung cancer and other types of diseases or cancers related to that. Then we move into alcohol. 14 million Americans, or 7% of the U.S. population, is considered to have an alcohol problem, alcoholics. And with regards to alcoholics, 95% of those that deal with the trouble with alcohol will eventually die from their addiction. And amazingly, their lifespan will be shortened by some 26 years because of their addiction. And the next one we move on to is eating disorder. In regards to an eating disorder, we're going to be dealing with anorexia, bulimia, binge eating. In regards to those, anorexia is an emotional disorder involving self-starvation that produces a very thin body. And bulimia is a related disorder in which a person develops a pattern of gorging and purging and forcing themselves to be able to vomit. 24 million Americans suffer from this eating disorder. 95% with eating disorders are, again, teens and 20-somethings. And of all of the disorders that are out there, mental illness type of disorders, eating disorders have the highest death rate of any mental illness on the books. It is something that is dangerous. And then we move on next to sex addiction. And when we deal with sex addiction, we got to bring in the issue of pornography, which is a $13 billion business, a lot of bucks in pornography. With regards to mobile devices like tablets that we see here, 1 in 5 mobile devices have been used to search for or download or look at pornography in some way. And then with regards to sex addiction, you got to get into STDs, sexually transmitted diseases. And experts say that 65 million Americans, or 24% of the American population, has some type of incurable STD, like HIV, AIDS, and gonorrhea, and chlamydia, and other types of STDs. And then lastly, we deal with gambling. 2 million Americans are gambling addicts. 4 to 6 million are problem gamblers, and then another 15 million are on the fringe of becoming problem gamblers. And 1 in 5 problem gamblers make an attempt at suicide. Of all the addictions that I've just listed here, the highest suicide rate, the one that has the highest suicide rate, are gamblers. Dangerous, dangerous addiction. I could go on with a list of many, many other addictions that people in our world struggle with. When it comes to addiction, the bottom line of what is an addiction, to keep it simple, to take it from the top shelf to the lower shelf, is anything that produces an obsession with you, a compulsion. I've got to have it, I've got to have it, I've got to have it. And then it goes beyond an obsession compulsion where it affects your health. It affects your relationship. It affects your finances. It affects just so much of your life. And with regards to addictions can be television, texting, social media, just flat out being on the computer, gaming, so many other things, even caffeine, even work can be an addiction. Well, what I want to share with you today is I want to help you be free from addictions, to escape, because I believe that you can. When we're in the face of an addiction, we feel like there's no way out. When we're dealing with a family member or a friend that has an addiction, it's frustrating because it can seem like nothing can help them be cured of their addiction. Well, I want to tell you today that the power of Jesus Christ, He suffered, died, stayed buried, rose again from the dead, and the power of Jesus Christ that helped Him rise again from the dead is available to help people become free from addiction, no matter what addiction that it is. Why do people become addicts? God called me to preach His Word, and since that time I've ministered to multitudes of people. And I have seen people that have been addicts, or I have talked with family members who have family members or friends who have addicts. I've seen its destruction firsthand. And let me just ask this question, about why do people become addicts? And one of the things I've personally seen is taking away the genetic issue and the biological issue and the mental illness issue and the disease issue. Is sometimes an addiction is a coping mechanism. The walls of life feel like it's crushing in. Problems at work, problems at home, problems in the marriage, financial issues, children issues, marriage issues, whatever it is. And people are just trying to find a way of escape. And you know what? It starts off innocent. It's like they're saying to themselves, well, I'm just doing this because I'm just trying to make it. I'm going through a tough time right now. I'm just trying to make it. And in the beginning, they don't have a vision for destroying themselves, for destroying their marriage, their family, for losing their job, for going bankrupt, for just ending their life. None of that is in their mind. They're just trying to cope innocently. But the way addiction works, it starts off innocent incrementally, and before long, it's got you in its vice grip, and that addiction has controlled you. Well, no matter where somebody is with an addiction, Jesus Christ can set you free.